Codido is back. One of our favorite developers is now back after a year since their last release with a brief history of the world. This game represents a civilization building game where players are trying to complete a civilization over 6 rounds. They earn points by how they spread and in what parts of the world they have conquered. Let's take a look and see how the game plays on iOS and see if it's worth your hard-earned cash. As you can see, you can play with up to 6 players. These can be human or AI players, and the AI players have several difficulty levels. I've not explored a lot of the higher difficulty levels as I'm fairly new to this game, just barely playing it once the app was released. But the computer seems to make smart choices even on the earlier levels, and at the higher levels I'm sure it provides quite the challenge for experienced players. A Brief History of the World has a presentation I don't think we've ever seen before, at least not in a while. Here we have, instead of the full board constantly available with trays dropping in and out, we have a framed board that is always in that same spot and is always visible. From the sides and from the top we have other information about the players in the game, the cards that you have to play that round, and that sort of thing. This is a very interesting presentation and something that we haven't seen before, and I'm not exactly sure on my feelings about it. It seems to work well here, but then again does limit ultimately the play area. That being said, it is incredibly clean and straightforward about what goes where, which is pretty interesting and something we don't see all the time on iOS. In each round in A Brief History of the World, players receive 2 items. First, they receive a civilization, and then they receive an event card. The civilization tells them how many armies they're going to get for that civilization, where its capital starts, and sometimes a bonus about that civilization. They will then use the civilization to conquer the lands around the civilization and try to score points by having dominance in an area, which means the most units there, having mastery in an area, which means the only person with units there, and at least 3 units, or having presence in an area by placing soldiers in lands even if you do not have the most or all that are in there. At the end of each of your turns, your point total will be counted, and the player with the most points at the end of the game is the winner. You can earn additional points by having the most points in a round, which rewards you some bonus points. You can also build capital cities and monuments, which will give you additional points when scored if you control them. Event cards work by allowing you to change the rules and take actions that you normally would not be able to take. These cards are really key to the game, and being able to use them well and at the right time is key to winning. There is some luck to this, but you always have a choice of cards, and so this allows you to pick and draft what you think will help you most that round. A Brief History of the World features online play. This is a great fit for the game as it seems to work very well asynchronously. The turns are very substantial. You have a lot to do. You'll be taking your entire turn at once. There is no back and forth, and so this really allows for asynchronous to work really well. Codido has added a lot of the features they have from previous games, and it seems to be definitely something worth playing. I've only played a few games so far. They seem to work pretty well, and there were a few hiccups here and there, but overall the game seems to be working well, and I hope to play more in the future. While not terribly simple to master, the game does have pretty straightforward rules, and you have the full rulebook that you can access. There's also a tutorial that teaches you all of the rules and allows you to be set up for a good first game. That's one thing I like about Codido. Their tutorials always seem to make you feel like an awesome player right off the bat, which I think is great for encouraging people to continue to play a game they might not otherwise. There is player ranking. You can compare with your friends as well as the local AI players. You also can check out the options, which allow you to adjust things like music, effects volume, animation speed, and AI speed, which you could definitely turn up since the AI speed is one of the things that slows down this relatively quick game. Other than that, you can check out the other additional Codido games if you like this game and want to see what the designers have done otherwise. In terms of gameplay, I really like A Brief History of the World. It seems to be a pretty straightforward game with some pretty simple rules. I do agree that the rules can get a little bit tricky, and you're going to have to play a few times to really understand how to win, while playing is pretty fun and easy, and to see your armory conquer a country is really cathartic and very intuitive. The app works well and is clean and polished. It definitely has that Codido feel, the common buttons, that sort of thing. Again, things that I've complained about in the past and definitely are still here, but Codido's style is here to stay, so I can't really harp too much other than I do feel like it could be a little more professional and a little more modern looking in some cases. The game is very fun, and the app works well. There have been a few hiccups here and there with the undo button seemed to work funny for me, causing a couple crashes, as well as the online system kind of crashing initially. But other than that, the game seems to work well, and I'm sure those small bugs will be ironed out very shortly. Definitely recommend this one. It's a fun, medium-weight strategy game that I think will appeal to many players. Don't be scared off if you've thought Codito games were a little heavy for you in the past. This one definitely is a bit lighter in terms of rules as well as strategy. The game has pretty great design and is definitely worth playing. The weight of the game and the style of the game makes it perfect to play on iOS, and I think it's a perfect fit here. I definitely recommend you pick this one up. Definitely is a great one to play, and one that I've enjoyed so far and hope to dive more into in the future.